Here's a few more things about this BMW X5. We just had a torrential rainstorm last night. You can see there's a little rust on the rotors from that. I think that's when it squeaks when you go in reverse. Doesn't do it when it's in forward though. These center posts are a type of, I don't know, anodized aluminum or something. I don't know. They've always had a little water spotting on them since I've had it. Nothing seems to get rid of that. What else? Oh, I was going to talk about the brake controller was installed right here. You can see there's some holes there. You don't really see that from up top. The brake controller wires are right in here. They are labeled with the ground, brake, trailer, and whatever. If you decide to use a brake controller, they're back in there and they shouldn't bother anybody. The center console, I think there was some kind of drink holder thing in here that snapped out. It's never been there as long as I've had it. There originally was a cassette holder in here. We took that out to get more room. It has this iPod interface. There's also some power leads in there if you want to install some aftermarket electronics. There's 4 power leads and 4 grounds. The top of the console, this button is a little sticky. It does open. BMW does paint their plastic. Makes the plastic look more luxurious, but it also makes it kind of funky looking when it gets older. It's not bad looking, just not like it's new. One of the odder features of the X5 is the reclining rear seats. There are actually buttons located in the back of the car, supposedly to allow you to recline the seats or move them up if you're loading cargo. What these end up doing is moving these seat brackets back and forth. There's also buttons in the center console that do the same thing. The hitch is a Westfalia hitch from BMW. It's a $500 option. It involves removing the entire bumper cover, replacing the entire bumper substrate with a new one. It's quite a heavy duty. It also includes the, I guess it's a 7-pin connector. And I just recently found this cap for it as well. You'll notice there's this cell phone antenna mounted on the side. It can be removed. I had a cell phone amplifier in the car. You'll also notice that there's these shade vents on the windows. And little mirrors on the side to give you a little extra. Like I said, we had a torrential rain here last night. You can see there's a very inexpensive floor mat here on top of the WeatherTech floor mat. If you take the WeatherTech floor mat out, which hooks into the original BMW hooks, you can see the floor is nice and dry. We did have a problem with leakage in the sunroof because we had a sunroof windscreen on there and found out that was causing leakage. The dead pedal here, there's a little crack. Not sure how that happened, but it's covered up by the WeatherTech. The car does sort of tilt forward, and what happened was with the sunroof windscreen on here, the water would come and just sit here and collect. And we took the sunroof wind deflector off and sold it on eBay and haven't had any problems since then. With regard to the paint job, as I noted in the listing, all cars look better on eBay than they do in person, and this is what I'd call a good 20-foot paint job. There are a number of rock chips and nicks in the paint, which you can see. I've taken the bra off. There's also a number of things that were caused by bugs. In Florida, they have these love bugs. They're very acidic, and they leave these sort of weird marks on the paint. I think that somebody drove the car across Florida after it was painted when this paint was still soft, and the very front end has always been kind of chipped up as a regard. We put a bra on it, and now I'm looking at it, there's sort of a little line where the bra is, but I think the bra makes it actually look better than the original nose on the car. But I'm not trying to hide anything with the bra. I think it just makes it look better and covers up all those rock chips. I replaced both the fog lights at 100,000 miles. The license plate here will be coming off shortly. Here's a close-up on this gasket for the windshield. There's a gasket all the way around. As you can see up here, it's been caulked with black silicone. The original one wasn't leaking, it just was all cracked from the Florida sun and looked very bad. So we caulked it. We haven't had any problems with it. The roof has a few scratches in it. We do carry kayaks up here, and it does get a little scratch from time to time. On the passenger side here, we've installed an extra cup holder. The reason for that is BMW provides you with 1.5 cup holders here, which is kind of inconvenient. I don't know why they did that. Plus you can keep your beer down here where the police won't see it. I didn't just say that. There's also one of these inexpensive mats over here, and underneath it is a WeatherTech mat. This is really great if you plan on using this for its intended purpose, which is a sport activity vehicle, and you like to go camping or take it. This does have the HomeLink garage door opener. It stores up to 3 garage door memory units. There's also a sunglasses holder up here as well. And both driver and passenger side have lighted vanity mirrors. They don't go on now because the key's not the ignition, but there's a light above each sun visor. The sunroof, the moonroof, has a sliding shade. I just noticed now that it has a little, not a lot of sag, but a little wrinkle there. It's getting older. Again, want to be fully disclosing the condition. As you can see, the ashtray is very clean, and the cigarette lighter is also looks brand new. We've never smoked in it. We've had it for 8 years. I don't believe either the 2 dentists who smoked in it, or excuse me, who drove it, smoked in it. Here's the rear cigarette lighter. You can see it's never been used either. So I don't think it's been smoked in. It's never had any weird cigarette smells. Somebody asked about heated seats. No, it does not have heated seats. The buttons for that would appear right here. It does have 3 memory seats, for the driver only, which also moves the outside mirrors and the steering wheel. Somebody asked about the heat. The air conditioning's always worked great. I do top off the charge every other year or so. The heat works okay. It comes out of the defroster, and the bottom, this knob here, which is supposed to make it go hotter, sometimes gets sticky. I don't know why. Lately it seems to be getting more sticky, but it never seems to put hot air out of these vents, just the defroster in the bottom. If you set this to 80 degrees and put it on bottom, you will be blasted out of the car with heat. It does have the hill descent control. That was a Land Rover feature. We've never really used it. I used it only once, and it really is sort of superfluous. The 5-speed, it's an interesting car to drive. The first gear is geared very, very low, so when you come off the line, you almost immediately have to shift into second. You can almost start this car in second gear, and you really don't appreciate why that is until you tow a trailer with this, and then you realize you need that first gear to get the thing moving. This isn't going to drive like your E36 or E46 or Z3 or anything like that. It's a bigger car, it's heavier, and it has full-time all-wheel drive. It took me a little getting used to driving it, and driving it with a clutch does require some finesse and talent. The tires are Yokohama Avid Energies. I'm looking at the tread here. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that. In the center, it's pretty good. They are probably going to be ready to be replaced in another 10,000 miles or so. Maybe might get 15 out of them. Toward the middle there, it's got a lot of tread. BMWs have negative camber in the rear, and they tend to wear, this car tends to wear the inside of the rear tires out. So I rotate them frequently and actually have them taken off the rims and rotated side to side, since they are directional tires, so that the worn inside becomes the worn outside, as you can see here. If you do that, you can get a lot more mileage out of your tires. Here's the rear tire. You can see Lincoln's head disappearing there. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. If I had it to do again, I would have put Michelin's on here, even if they were $300 a tire back then, due to the Chinese tire tariff that we enacted through the International Trade Commission. They're down to about 220 now. These Yokohamas are 160, but as the old saying is, you get what you pay for. The Michelin Energies rode like a dream and were quiet. These Yokohamas ride okay, they have good traction, but they are a little more noisier than the Michelins. If I was to keep this car, I would be shopping for replacement Michelins at about 10 to 15,000 miles. A couple more things, the engine compartment. You'll notice this circuit breaker here. This is for the trailer brake controller. As I noted earlier, the wiring is behind the steering wheel. You could use that for an auxiliary electronic device or your CB radio, or if you want to run a trailer, the wiring is all right there. You'll also see there's little stickers here that I've put in to remind myself when I change things like the power steering fluid or flush the radiator or the oil changes, which I also have those on the windshield. You can of course peel those off if you want to. There's the bra back on. You'll also see right there, there's the GPS antenna for the Pioneer Avic Z2. Here's a close-up of the headlights. You can see they're pretty clear. For an older car, there's a little stuff right there. Maybe that could be buffed off. I don't know if it's wax or what. If you ever have a car with yellow headlights, don't drive around with yellow headlights. You can go to Walmart or any other places, and for about $40 they'll buff them out and make them look like new. And I had that done about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's worked pretty well. This does have the Sport package, which gives you clear turn signals. I'm not sure what that does for you, but there you have it. I've tried to include everything about this car. There may be some things I've overlooked. It does come with this scale model of the car as well. There's always, other little scratches here and there that I might not have noticed or whatever. You should expect it to be in typical condition for a 15-year-old car. 12-year-old car with 150,000 miles on it. Thanks for viewing, and good luck bidding.